Hey, everybody, welcome to a special edition of the Sylvania Rounds football show on a Wednesday night. Coach had stuff going on Monday night. I had stuff going on last night, so we moved it to Wednesday night. We will be back at our regular
I ain't got
day.
stuff going on ever, so I just come whenever.
Yeah. So we will be back on Tuesday night next week, and Coach has already told us, so let's go ahead and get it out there. We're going to have some players with us next week, and hopefully have a few seniors on. And so anyway, I'm the Howie Cheney. Thank goodness I'm the only one. So that's why I put the in front of it. Along with QB1 Randall Cunningham, CEO of RiverCity-Media, and of course the man of the hour, Coach Brad Waldrop. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, Al. Good to be here.
It's great to have you on, and let's talk a little bit about last week real quick. Big homecoming game, and I'm going to ask you first thing off bat, how did it feel walking on the Sylvania football field for the first time, being the head coach of the Sylvania Rams?
It felt good. Obviously pretty emotional. Um, I spent a lot of years on that grass as a player and as a coach prior to this stint here. So yeah, it means a lot to me, and meant a lot to me to be able to walk out there on that field again and be wearing the green and gold.
Did you actually able to just like take a few seconds and just kind of soak it in for a second, realize, hey, this is kind of my house now?
Well, um, I guess I had a little bit of that moment, I guess, in the pregame, in the warm-ups. I was able to, things kind of slow down just a little bit right there. Um, so yeah, kind of sat back and reminisce just a little bit to myself for just a minute or two.
And now being able to see your kids play on that field that you played on growing up, how does that make you feel? I'm trying to get
Uh,
some tears out of you, Coach. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
well, I'm not a big warm and fuzzy guy, but it definitely it definitely feels good to see my kids out there, um, wearing my at heart colors on the field where I pretty much learned about 99% of what I know about the game right now. Um, just the effort part of it, the intensity part of it, and basically what it takes to win. So just trying to get that instilled in my boys as well.
Absolutely. And a big homecoming win last week. I would say the score, I can't remember, 35-14, I think it was. And
Yes, sir.
a big win. And it seemed like overall your team played extremely well.
Well, we kind of finally put one together. We tried to start off on the wrong foot again. I very rarely will take the ball on the opening kickoff when we win a toss, but I kind of felt like Friday night that would have been to our advantage if we could take the ball and maybe make something good happen for us early. And it kind of backfired on me. We fumbled the opening kickoff and gave them the ball on about the 20-yard line. But we did kind of bow our backs there and make a stop and block the field goal and was able to take the lead. We took our first drive, not well, I don't know if it's our first one after we fumbled the opening kickoff, but first time the offense took the field and we clicked it down the field and stuck it in. Got a little momentum going our way. And then, we were fortunate enough to get the following kickoff. We kicked off and the ball got on the ground. We wound up with it. And we were driving, had a chance to go up 14. We wound up putting the ball on the ground again. But we rallied back from that and got a stop. And we did go up 14. Then we had a bust on the back end, let them get behind us on third and long. Had an opportunity to really put the game away in the first quarter, and just didn't take a hold of it, didn't take advantage of it, let them get on the board and made it a ball game. So, and it stayed pretty close. We was able to put one on the board kind of late to make it 35-14. So.
Good overall effort, I feel like, on the defensive side. It seemed like everybody's kind of swarming to the ball. There was a couple. This is to the naked eye because I know absolutely nothing about football, but it seemed like I know the team was flying to the ball, making the stops that they needed to make, and it seemed like it was one of the better defensive performances you've had so far this year.
Well, we played really good up front. You know, we pretty much alleviated their run game, which is obviously kind of the plan going in week by week. That's what we want to try to stop. Don't always work out that way, but we were successful at that Friday night. But when you make them throw them, you got to make a play on that end too. So we didn't do a very good job of that.
Randy, I know you got some questions for the coach.
Coach, in reviewing the film that I've been able to, the word that come to mind about the front seven was consistency. Is this the best they've played within the game plan? Seems like blown assignments was next to nothing, and just they kind of stayed within what you asked them to do.
They did a lot better job. Of course, now we in all reality, we really simplified things too. We kind of went back to the basics and just tried to do as little as possible that would allow us to have the success that we needed to have. And for the most part, as a whole, we've done a better job of executing our assignments play by play and down by down.
I felt like too on the offensive side up front, you went a little simpler too. Was that by design that on the offensive side you kind of scaled the blocking schemes back a little bit?
Yes, sir. It was. We're just, it is what it is, but we're getting better and better, and we got younger guys that are learning more about how the scheme works and how things have to fit together. But we really kind of went back to some real basic stuff on both sides of the ball to try to simplify a few things.
Sometimes basics good.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt.
You said the word you put pieces together, and I've talked about football being a puzzle. The more layers you put on, the harder it gets. But sometimes it's just the game plan leans to it, but also you can feel when your team needs to back up and just put a hat on a hat. Very physical effort by the young men.
Yeah, we played real physical. The offensive line pretty much dominated the game, and the defensive line,
Yep.
I felt like, dominated the game on the other side. And in reality, about 95% of football games are going to be won and lost up front. So if you can dominate both sides of the ball in the trenches, your odds go way up.
Do you think it helps young people too that maybe haven't played at the high school level when you kind of go back, you kind of put their eyes in the places they need to be when you simplify it, or you give your quarterback one read? Do you think it can take that sophomore and make him better because he's not trying to read as much?
Yeah, obviously, we want to try to be as simple as we can be, but sometimes the opponent don't allow that. Sometimes you have to kind of branch out just a little bit in order to find some success. But if you can be successful with the simple, then we're not going to do anything else.
Coach, I've made 59 years by being simple. I'm pro simple. Yeah. Howie, I've asked 3 questions that made sense. I better throw it back to you and not press it.
Coach, offensively, you came out and you just started running the ball, kind of a 3-headed monster with Anderson and Ledford and Owens, and all 3 of them had a great game. Owens, I don't say he had a better game, but statistically he did have a little better game. Ledford had probably, as Claude Callahan says, a highlight run. He was all over the field on that run, but I think it only gained about 25 yards, but it was very electrifying and entertainment run right there. How many times y'all go back and watch that on film?
I think we just watched it once, Howard. It turned out, again, to the spectator, it was a pretty impressive run, but to the coach in me, if he'd have just stayed where he should have stayed to start with, it wouldn't have been as entertaining, but it would have been more productive.
So he should have just stayed behind his blockers, huh?
Yeah, if he'd have stayed the course where he started, it, like I said, it wouldn't have probably been as what you said electrifying, but it might have lit up the scoreboard instead of turned into a 25-yard run. It might have been a 40-yard run with a 6 points going along with it.
I think, if I'm mistaken, at the end of that drive, he ended up scoring anyway. So he
He
got
did.
his points out of it anyway. It just hurt his average a little bit, but you know, but coach, a big crowd was out there Friday night for homecoming, and I know you was glad to see that.
Oh yeah, I'm super proud to see the people turn out. Obviously, you for the most part, you're generally going to have a little bit more of an attendance when it comes to homecoming because everybody wants to come see their um, granddaughters and their daughters and whoever else is in that homecoming court all dressed up and dolled up. But uh, you know, I
Hey,
don't know.
shout out to all those parents that bought all those dresses from my dad that just had one. They got a pretty penny on them.
Yeah, I don't think that's another reason. I don't think that's another reason the good Lord didn't give me no girls. He knowed I couldn't afford one.
I might sell the house and take another lease.
But yeah, it was a huge crowd there. Whitesburg Christian didn't bring a whole lot, but regardless of that, it was a good crowd there, and they saw a very good game and was able to see you get your first win along with the Rams of the 2025 edition. So, what does that first win mean to you?
Well, it's always good to get a win. When you go into a game, there ain't but two options: you either win them or you lose them. And there ain't but one option that's anywhere close to satisfactory, and that's winning. So, um, it's always good, regardless if it's the first one or if it's the 100th one. It's a win, and it's big for the kids. It's big for the program. Um, Good for the morale, and it's a good boost to the kids, the community, and all that. So, um, I'm not obviously I always want to win them, but I'm not real sure if I like winning as much as I hate losing. I probably hate losing more than I like winning, but um, I'm proud. I'm proud the kids got to win. I'm proud we got to win, and looking forward to adding on to that column.
Absolutely, the wins are going to come, and like I said, I think it brought built the morale up of the kids, and of course, I was by there to talk to you today at the field house for a few minutes, and uh, three of the boys was there, and they seemed like their spirits was high, and they're looking forward to this coming game this week against Plainview, and of course, anybody that puts on the green and gold better be looking forward to a Plainview game, regardless of what the records are.
There ain't no doubt. It is what it is, and it's kind of what, to me, it's kind of what high school sports is all about. You get those local rivalries, no matter what sport you play in. Those neighboring folks are the people that you're going to see 30 years from now at the grocery store. You know, ain't nothing like being able to grin at them versus try to turn your head and slide around the corner without seeing you.
Randy, you called quite a few of these games with what is it, 1400 FBA out of Fort Payne and with K98 as well. Go ahead and talk a little bit about the Plainview Sylvania game. Plus, also, I did read, thanks to Heath Hambrick, he let me know that it's the 68th meeting between Sylvania and Plainview.
I think it's an underrated rivalry in the Chattanooga area. I put it on par with they don't play anymore, but they should. Marion County and South Pittsburgh and that kind of local feel. And when I went down and I called my first one, I wasn't ready for it, Coach. I walked into the stadium about an hour before the game was to start. There's already a crowd there. I thought I was late to the football game. You got to arrive early if you're going to get a seat for a Sylvania Plainview game.
Ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt. And it's again, that's good for the kids. It's good for the community. Good for both communities. It's an old rivalry game. And it just is what it is. It's those are the funnest ones to play in.
Coach, what do you think makes it's like a kid in a rivalry game plays above his head maybe sometimes on both sides of the football and both teams. Do you think it's the rivalry, the adrenaline, or just it's such a big scene that the kid wants to produce that? What causes someone to play over their head in a game like that? And it happens every.
I mean, to me, I think it has a whole lot more to do with the fact that 95% of the kids that are on the field, they know each other. You know, it's not like they're playing somebody from, you know, West Mississippi that they've never seen before.
Yeah.
They grow up knowing each other. They've been playing against each other their whole lives. So, you know, you build up that competitive spirit through that, and it just, you know, it just builds and builds and builds. And the older you get, you know, the more drive you get, and things like that'll fuel you a little bit more.
Coach, I know you've been coaching for a while. It's not your first head job, but when you look across the field and you see a Paul Benefield or a Dale Pruitt that's been doing it for 40 years, what makes a coach? What drives a coach for doing it that many years? Because that's a hard profession.
It definitely is a hard profession, but you know, there's a love for the game that you get connected to that you just can't get shook loose of, and that's what keeps us going. The love for the game and then the love for the kids, being able to see those kids develop and grow into young men, have the opportunity to help young men change their lives, make something of themselves. You know, that's what it's all about. That and community. You know, it's all about relationships. It's what life is. And you can't build better relationships anywhere than you can within a football program, because everybody depends on everybody else. You know, it's a family atmosphere, and everybody's got to do their part. And it's just, you know, it's hard to explain if you ain't never been a part of it and ain't never had a chance to be a part of it. It's different. It's different than anything else.
Coach, I'll come back after that. You said something about that field being where you learn 95% of your football. That field's also a great teacher in how to be a man, I think. And that's a lesson we don't want to forget about on this program. Those kids are learning how to do more than football, but become a young man on that field too.
Oh yeah, this game is very, very parallel to the game of life. You're going to face adversity. There's going to be hard times, and you got to figure out how to overcome that stuff. You know, you got an option. You can quit. You know, but obviously that's not what we're trying to do. So things get hard. You just got to pull your bootstraps up and keep chopping wood and go to work. Figure out a way to overcome whatever it is.
Howie, I got one more question for Coach. Now, Coach, I'm going to take you back to your playing days. What would Coach Brad Waldrop now as a player thought about looking in the corner and seeing a Jumbotron in the Sylvania football stadium?
I'd have thought they ain't no way. That's what I'd have thought. You know, we played on this sucker. There wasn't no grass in the middle.
Yeah.
It was all dirt, and if it was raining, it was all mud.
Saw some of the best football of my life, though, back in those days. Saw some great football. Howie, go ahead. But
Yeah, Coach, it's things have changed since you played and back in the '90s. But let's talk a little bit about Plainview real quick. What you know, high powered offense, averaging around I think 50 points a game right now. Defensively, they are giving up some points. So defensively, I think it's around 20 points a game. But tell us a little bit about their offense, a little bit about their defense while Randy takes a bite of his supper.
I hear you, Randy. They're a really good, balanced football team. Both sides of the ball. Their offensive line. They are first of all, they're big. They're real big across the front. The biggest front we've seen by far. They're really disciplined. Their O line are some experienced guys, and they do a good job of getting off the ball and getting on people. When they get on you, they stay on you. So offensive line wise, they're really really good. Quarterback, he's a dual threat kid, really really good runner. They don't throw it a whole lot, but when they do throw it, he throws a really good ball, throws a good accurate ball. They've got some kids that can go catch it. The running back, he's a real strong kid, well put together kid, built low to the ground, runs hard, does a really good job of keeping his shoulder squares and running downhill. He can make you miss, but don't necessarily have to. They want to line up, kind of spread you out just a little bit, and pound it in inside. And they do a good job running the ball on the perimeter. They got a couple other guys that they'll run some jet stuff with to stretch you a little bit, run a little speed option here and there. They're a well-rounded offense, a well-coached football team. They do a really good job on the offensive side of just keeping the chains moving, getting enough to keep a drive alive. But they've got big play capabilities as well. At any point, I think the quarterback can break one, take it to the house. Any of the running backs can do the same. And their offensive line, they got multiple kids. They roll in and out, playing tight end, playing some H. That are really good players, and they're pretty big too. So across the board, they're a really, really good, really solid offensive team. Defensively, there's just not very many holes. The defensive line plays hard. They play physical and play fast. They're disciplined. They got a couple of really good linebackers in the box that'll run to the ball and get you on the ground. And their secondary does a really good job of staying on top of stuff, not giving up big balls and deep shots, and trying to make the offense snap it again. And so, all in all, they're a really good, well balanced football team on both sides of the ball.
Do they have a lot of players that goes both ways?
Not just a whole bunch. There are several of them that they do spot play on both sides of the ball, but not just a whole lot of them play, consistently on both sides. But they do have there are several that rotate in and out.
That's something that kind of hurts you a little bit. You're not able to do a lot of subbing in and out, but it seems like as the year goes along, you are able to do that a little bit more because you're getting a little bit more confidence in the players, and the players are getting more confidence as well.
That's right. It's always definitely beneficial. The more guys you can get kind of on and off the field to give a guy a breather here and there. And we're starting to develop a little bit of depth in a few places. So we're getting a little better at that. But the more you can play, the fresher you stay.
And my last question before we turn it back over to Randy will be on the special team side of Plainview, their kicker, punter wise. The points they're putting up, I don't know if they punted very many times this year, so I don't know if you know much about their punter. But as far as kicking wise, special teams, what do they got going on?
They're solid in their special teams as well, Howie. They hadn't punted the ball a whole lot. They ain't had no reason to. Like I said, the occasion has not arose much. They kickoff wise, last week they were a little bit sporadic, but they still do whatever they got to do to get the job done.
Hi, Randy.
Coach, Coach Pruitt followed me when he left Alabama and come up here to Marion County. I was at Sequatchie County, and I was talking to the coach one night, and he said, Coach Pruitt's not complicated, but what he forces you to do and forces the kid to do is stay in position and tackle well. Is that tackling well critical this week to success?
Absolutely. They do a lot of stuff where they're gonna get you in some one-on-one situations, and you just ain't got no choice. You just got to make the play.
Yeah.
So we got to do a good job of running to the ball. First man there's just got to hang on, whether I get him on the ground or not. I just got to hang on and hope for help.
Coach, it's not complicated, I think, with what Plainview does and has done over the years. But Coach is a real, you described that offense. He always brings that element of that wing back and some speed in the backfield, or something that's a big back and then bring some speed. Is that something that causes a defense to have a hard time when you've been pounding with a big back, pounding, and then all of a sudden you go bring one of those wing backs around and hand him football on a reverse or something?
Well, every element of the game's got its difficulties. And it don't matter which one you're trying to do. There's always going to be some challenges. Tackling a big back or trying to hem one up that can, really run. They both got their challenges. So, having the ability that like they do to do both, it definitely puts a little more stress on the defense.
Coach, you had a quarterback in Marion County here when I was at Sequatchie. We ain't tackled him yet. So he played 4 years, and every week he'd leave with the cleanest uniform on the field. So that's a bad thing. So at least tell somebody, throw some dirt on the quarterback, make him look bad early on. So
I hear you.
Howie, it sounds like Coach has got his hand full this week and with Plainview, and I miss this rivalry. I in my life I say that this is one of my top 3 rivalries. I liked South Pittsburgh and Marion. I liked Sequatchie and Blitzo, and then Plainview, Sylvania. Those are the 3 rivalries I enjoyed the most. Sitting in the booth and just calling the game. And what they had in common, 3 most intense rivalries that I've seen in high school football. You don't find it at the big schools. You find it in the little county schools. It's just up the road from each other.
That's right.
Kind of piggybacking on what you said earlier, Coach. Yeah, a lot of these players and why they play so hard against each other, and it's just my opinion, but it's a lot of these kids go to school or not go to school, but go to church together. They're actually family members against each other. So it's kind of like bragging rights for when you have a family reunion at Thanksgiving or Christmas. You show up with that green and gold on or that the blue and white on, just to rub it in on the other family members.
There ain't no doubt. There ain't no doubt. There ain't nothing like claiming them bragging rights.
Absolutely. So, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. We're not done with you yet. Just want to wish you the best of luck come Friday night, and looking forward to hearing from you and hearing from the kids next Tuesday. Let's go around 6:30 or 7 o'clock next Tuesday. Go ahead and get that out there. Let everybody know, especially since we're going to have some of the kids on, and that way everybody can know about it. But this coming Friday night, everybody show up. Sylvania Stadium, 7 o'clock. Sylvania versus Plainview, kickoff at 7. Give a plug to both ends as far as concession stands. The south end there, as you come into the main gate, is Quarterback Club. They're going to have hamburgers, hot dogs, drinks, popcorn, all that stuff. Yes, I'm a fat guy. I got to plug the food every once in a while. I think one of the issues or one of the things to be on the show is you got to be a little over 200 something pounds to be on the show to be a host of it.
I qualify.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the south end is the Quarterback Club. Of course, the north end down at the far end of the home bleachers is going to be the band concession stand. They're going to have chicken fingers, fries, crock pot specials. I was told this week it's going to be I forgot what I was told. Anyway, it's going to be some chili. It's going to be some pintos and cornbread down there, homemade brownies. So go by and visit both of them because Quarterback Club sponsors Coach and his football team. The band boosters, it supports the band concession stand, supports the band boosters, and this is also how both of these organizations help make their money. And as you're walking in, buy a program from the cheerleaders because that's how they make their money. We got to get all the plugs in, Coach.
I hear you, buddy.
I'm hungry.
You was eating while we was on the air a while ago, so you should be.
Really?
You should be.
Hey, and we got some bear love going on. We'll take viewers from either side because viewers are sacred.
Yep. Go Bears. Love my number 65.
We,
So
we take viewers from the opposite side. Just know we don't root for you.
but we have had people on from I think every school in the county on here.
Yeah, we love Plainview every 51 weeks. This one, my blood runs green and gold. But go on, get me in trouble.
Yeah, we're trying to be careful about what we say and everything, but
we love you 51 weeks of the year. That's sweet, not much.
But also we got a couple of sponsors. Randy, you don't know about our sponsors. Terrence Cookies. If you need any cookies for your Friday night or Saturday's football games, go by and see or contact Taryn Patterson. She can cook you up and make you some good cookies, and also go by Alice Circle in Fort Payne, Rainsville. Get you team shirts of not just Sylvania, but every school in the county. Go by, tell them that I sent you, and get the look in your face like, who is that? But then they'll help you out anyway. Coach, a little bit more about Plainview coming in Friday night. They're a 4A school and everything. How their numbers consist compared to yours against theirs, player wise?
Obviously they've got several more numbers than what we've got. But we try not to dwell on that. Obviously, regardless how many kids you got on the program, you can't play with 11 at a time. So the 11 that are on the field for each side will be competing as hard as they can compete, play after play. They may have a few more that they can roll out there, but that's not going to be. We're not going to dwell on that.
And something else, it just dawned on me. I was talking about the players knowing each other, or you actually spoke on knowing each other, going to church together, and all this. There's actually coaches from each school that are on the opposite teams going against it this week. So they kind of want to put their best foot forward, I guess you can say.
Yeah, that's always the case, but that's good. It breeds conversation, and it leads to those gougings and those get-togethers that are never ending. So all those guys over there, I know most of them. They know us. We've known each other for a long time. So like kind of like what Randall was saying there, for about 51 weeks out of the year, we pretty well get along. But this week's a little bit different.
This is the 68th meeting between Sylvania and Plainview, and honestly, I thought it was a lot more, but 68th, we'll go with what Heath Hambrick said from the Times-Journal. But, Coach, it seems like out of the 68, you've been a part of the coaching and playing part, about 25, 27 of them?
I'd have to do some thinking here. 23, 24.
Well, I made you a little bit older than you really was. Sorry about that.
You did. That's okay. I forgive you.
Hey, Howie was there for the first 15 of them, so he ain't young either.
Hey, I'm 50, so I only missed 18 of them so far, I guess. But and I'm right there with everybody. I've got family members that went to school at Plainview and still root for Plainview.
That Dana Hampton just said she graduated from Sylvania and her son plays at Plainview. Hey, Coach, can I ask a question? Because they had to do it with Sequatchie and Bledsoe. They moved the game to the first game of the year because they were having such a hard time. The kids, when they lost it, it was almost a 2-game. How do you get the kids back after such big? They play game 1, and now it seems like it's working better. They used to play game 6 or 7, and it was becoming a 2-week slump for the loser. Is that something you tell the kids ahead of time? Well, no matter what happens, we still got to play next week.
Well, no, not to be honest with you, Randall. No, we pretty much try to keep things on a day-by-day basis.
Yeah.
obviously, if that situation arises, we just got to be man enough to move on, you know, whatever the outcome is, whether it be win, whether it be lose, it's, tomorrow's another new day. It's another day. Can't live in the past, regardless if it was great or if it was bad. If you dwell too much in the past, you'll miss your present. So,
Yes, sir.
just got to keep
The winner of that
moving.
lost 3 years in a row their next week. So I think that's the reason they moved it to game one. It wasn't a loser that was having a hangover, it was the winner.
Well, that it can go both ways. So,
Yes.
like I said, you got to be able to move on, whether it be good, whether it be bad. That's irrelevant. We got to be able to move on to the next.
And something I just realized that last year and this year is the first times that these games, I mean, it does count toward the playoffs, but nowhere near like it did when Sylvania and Plainview were in the same region. That
Right.
counts for a lot right there.
It does. But, you know, whether it's a region game, whether it's a non-region game, it's a game on the schedule. And so the biggest reason it's the biggest game of the year right now is because it's the next one. Don't really matter who it is. So, going in again, week by week, day by day, you got to have the same approach, regardless of the opponent, regardless of if it's week 1, week 5, week 10. You got to have the same mental approach to every competition, every game, whatever it may be.
Coach, we appreciate your time. We got a few more questions for you, but we're going to let you get out of here. Go outside and let you get flooded. Like if it's raining there like it is here, you're going to get flooded going outside anyway. But yeah. Well, you live, Randy. You live in Chattanooga. You can have delivery made.
Yeah. I got DoorDash. Trust me, it's a bad habit.
I hear you.
Yeah, especially when the DoorDash person knows you by name.
Yeah, knows your address by name. Oh, it's Randall.
Yep. Coach, first home game last week, not having to travel and all that. How much did you and the team actually enjoy that, not having to get on a big yellow cheese and go somewhere for at least 45 minutes?
Well, I enjoy it. Being at home, I don't mind playing on the road. They both got their pros and cons. When you play on the road, you ain't got to get the field ready. You ain't got to worry about cleaning up after the game. But I would still rather play at home. Just for the sheer fact that I ain't got to get on that bus and ride. It don't matter if it's going 10 minutes or going 3 hours. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is, to be honest. So, Coach, we're going to we're going to step away from your team for a few minutes, talk a little bit about other things, and then we're going to let you get out of here. Some big games coming up this weekend in college, and of course, Randy's got his Tennessee hat on, got Tennessee, Mississippi State. So, well, there you go. So, Coach, Tennessee, Mississippi State, who do you got in that one?
Oh,
here, Coach. I won't put no pressure on you.
I don't really know. Mississippi State's been playing a lot better. I think Tennessee's kind of on a downward trend at the moment. So I'm gonna give the nod to Mississippi State.
Those cowbells, they're hard to play. I'm telling you,
they're gonna get them.
Hard to play around.
Yep.
Absolutely. And of course, the big one in the ACC this week is going to be the Alabama-Georgia game. That's going to be at Athens at Georgia. Who do you got for that one, Coach?
Lord, I don't know. I've been an Alabama fan my whole life, and I still am an Alabama fan. I know, offensively we've looked a lot sharper in the last couple of weeks, last couple of outings, but defensively, I'm not sure we're ready to take on Georgia. So I don't know. I'm gonna give the nod to Alabama just because I feel like I have to, but it's definitely gonna be a test.
Randy, your two picks, real quick. Well, we know what your one of them is. What's your other one? What's your Alabama Georgia pick?
As long as Tennessee's not playing the 85 Bears, you know what my pick is. Hey, I kind of like Alabama. And the reason being, you got to rally the troops if you're Alabama right now. And you need this a lot more than Georgia does. And I think there's more talent on that Alabama sideline than they are on the Georgia sideline. And talent seems to rise in these situations. I'll take the upset. And you'll never hear this out of my mouth. And I love Ty Simpson. His dad's a local coach around this area. Uh, Ty's a good kid. I'll take Ty Simpson just because I love the Simpson family.
Dana Hampton, the Tennessee Mississippi State game is at Mississippi State. If not, if it was in Tennessee, Randy would be there, season ticket holder since 1918, I think. So, but you know,
I
Coach
White play at Tennessee. I'll put it that way.
Reggie White, yeah, it's been quite a while there.
Yeah, I'm
So,
old.
yeah, well, no denying from me or Coach either one. Well, yeah, Coach, you were with me right there, buddy. You're gonna back me up.
Yes, sir.
That one up. I got it myself. I'll back you up.
So, Coach, we appreciate you coming on one last time. Everybody come out and support the team Friday night at Sylvania, 7 o'clock kickoff. Be sure to support the quarterback club at the concession stand. Be sure to support the cheerleaders at the as you buy a program walking in, and also support the band boosters down on the south end, or excuse me, the north end of the football field. And Coach, it's that time of night, and you always say I get you, so I'm going to get you again. How about a little shout outs?
Oh, well, you got me again. Um, I, you know, I hate to be repetitive and redundant, but I always got to give a shout out to my wife.
Well, you
You
have
know,
to, or the door lobs will be changed when you get home.
well, she ain't locked them yet. We've been together for, I'm fixing to mess up, Chief.
You brought that on yourself.
Hey, you better.
24. We've been together 24, 25 years now. That whole time she's been a coach's wife. She's definitely been understanding. She's always been in my corner. When the weekends rolls around, she's up here with me working just as hard or harder than I'm working. Whether that be cleaning, washing uniforms. She's been up here organizing the training room. You know, so she's definitely a big part of who I am and what we do. So you know, she's my number one fan, and I don't never have to wonder about where she stands. So definitely give a shout out to the wife. The quarterback club here, you know, they do so much. The work that they do behind the scenes, and you know, people don't have no idea. Again, we talk about being part of the football program. If you ain't never really done it, really been all in, you don't really realize how much has to be done on a day-to-day basis. It don't just happen on Friday nights. Um, you know, there's grass to be mowed and fields to be painted, and um, you know, concessions to be ordered and upkeep, and Lord, the list goes on and on and on. You know, clothes to be ordered, and you know, it's never ending. And you know, those guys and those gals, they do a great job of organizing, and you know, there's some ladies there involved in the quarterback club that do a great job of getting stuff to feed the kids, you know, and getting them what they need. So couldn't do any of that without all those guys. Give a shout out to my administration. Um, those guys, you know, again, you know, kind of unsung, but they do a lot of things that people don't have no idea what they're doing. But it's things that have to be done, and somebody's got to do it. You might say it's the dirty work, but whatever it is, it's still got to be done, and they do a great job of that. So appreciate all those guys.
And I want to say that after the game Friday night, I came walking in the locker room. Don't remember why I did, but I went walking in the locker room, and I looked to my right and looked down just a little, not much. Looked down just a little, and I saw the Mrs. Coach Waldrop asking you questions about where stuff went, or did you want something to eat, or I forgot exactly. I think that was everything that was said. Did you want a roast beef sandwich, and where does this go? And you said no, and told her where to put it at. While you was cutting the tape off of you starting center's hand.
Yep, she's definitely in my corner. She's always been there. Ain't no doubt. You know, go ahead. Not to overlook anybody, but these guys that help me day in day out around here, this coaching staff, they do a great job. No reservations, no hesitations, whatever I ask them to do. They're all in. They do a great job working with these kids and not just coaching football, but being mentors and helping these kids develop into young men. So I'm tickled and I'm proud of all these guys that are here. Glad I've got them in my corner.
Amen, Coach. That's the best shout out. That's a big one, right behind the wife, of course, behind the wife.
Absolutely. So, for some people that's wondering, this is a koozie with water in it. Got red on the bottom. No, it's not cough syrup. I hadn't got that crazy yet. So I drink water all night long. So,
hey, did you see this? North Alabama Community College plays softball Friday night at Mississippi State. I wish I was going. I'd double dip on that one.
absolutely. But you got a beautiful daughter that's got to go to homecoming dance.
Yeah, I also got a house for sale.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Best of luck come Friday night, and I'll see you on the sidelines Friday night. And of course, I always offer my advice on what the first couple of plays will be. And I'll go ahead and tell Randy real quick. I told him first play, go deep on the first play, and he said, I don't know about all that. And then after he won a coin toss and took the ball, I said, I changed my mind. Let's go tush push on the first play.
Coach, I'll call the first play for you next. Score. Just go.
I hear you.
That's
my favorite play call. I love calling the ones that score.
Yeah, just score.
Makes you look a lot better, don't it, Coach?
Yes, sir.
So for the Howard Chain Alone QB1, Randy Cunningham, Coach Brad Waldrop here. Go out and support the team Friday night. Whether it's Sylvania, Plainview, or whoever else you may be, just go out and support the kids. They worked hard all year long, not just the football team, but the cheerleaders, the band, and everything else. So go by all these concession stands, help them out as well. So join us next week when Coach Waldrop will be back with us talking about the Plainview recap, and he's going to let us talk to a couple of players. Good luck to us finding out when we start asking some of these questions. It's going to get interesting, and we've been doing this for where are we at, Randy? This is our fifth year having kids on, and
we've got
Coach,
the answers in the last 5 years. So.
Yes, sir, Coach. I'll just go ahead and tell you, be ready to step on the buzzer or whatever, because one night Randy asked one of the players something, and he started giving away the defensive game plan for that coming week.
Yeah. Coach had to stop in and go, just tell him the whole game plan then, right?
Of course, we're not telling you nothing, Coach. You've been around these 16, 17, 18-year-old kids for quite a few years.
Yeah, you don't never know what you're going to get.
And that's why we want them on here. So we don't want to give away game plan, but we want them to get on here and get to know them, get some recognition out there, especially these seniors, because this is their last go around, and let's get them some recognition out there. So pick you 2 or 3 out, if you will, and we'll bring them on Tuesday and ask them some of these famous Randy and Howie questions, and we'll go forward from then. And hopefully Randy, I may buy Randy an Alabama hat where he'll wear it next week instead of Tennessee.
No, I had to turn it around because my sunburn was hurting. I ain't got my hairs. So
I thought you was ashamed of it.
No, sunburn related.
Okay.
I wrote this 10 years to pay off this education. I'm in debt forever. I got to be a Vols fan. I can't afford to be any other thing. So,
last commenter that I had coming from Donnie Brooks saying, thanks, Randy, for turning your hat around.
Yeah, I got it.
Everybody, go out and support your team Friday night. Good luck to you, Coach. I'll see you Friday night, and good night, everybody.